I had it all mapped out. I saw what people around me were doing. They had the house, they had the car, they had like the white picket fence. So that was the thing that I saw that I was like, yeah, like I see other people have that, so I want to have it. And I remember we were making decisions about what we wanted to do when we got married. And my wife Charlotte said to me, she's like, well, where do you want to live? What do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to buy a house, obviously. And she said, well, you know what, like, why don't we just start with an apartment? And she was like super like, like she lived in one house with her parents her whole life. Like she's never moved. So this was like a huge deal for her. I couldn't wait to get out of my house. Like I was in my parents' basement. I was like, I can't wait to get out. And she was kind of like, and I was like, you know what, like, I told her, and these were my words. I said, I want to give you my best, and because I could stay home and save for a year, and then we could get a house, getting the apartment early is not my best. So she said, okay. So we saved for that year, had a joint account, and by 2016, you guys remember, for the homeowners in here, 2016, that was like right before like the big house boom. So we bought like right before that happened. So we got our first house. I was super pumped. I was 22. I was like, this is exactly what everybody else is doing and I'm doing it. Great. So I was super pumped. And then reality hit. So about a year and a half later, I'm sitting at the kitchen table with Charlotte, and we're going through our expenses. And I look through my expenses, and then I have this shocking realization that, oh shoot, my expenses outweigh my income. And it was a moment of, wow, like how did we go to Dominican last year? Like, you remember that trip to Mexico? Like why did we spend $4,000 on that? And I just started really thinking like, wow, like, and then it hit me. I was like, I've spent all this time, making decisions because I wanted people to see that I was good. Like I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be like everybody else and for people to be proud of me. Like not just strangers, like my parents, my siblings, my aunts and uncles, my grandparents. Like, oh my goodness, God forbid you don't carry on the family name in a respectful way. And that's all well and good. Like, I'm not knocking that. But I really made decisions based on like opinions, and it crippled me because I wasn't doing it for me. I wasn't doing it for my family. And at that point, I came onto this YouTube channel. Look it up if you get a chance. It's called Our Journey to Bliss. And it was like an aha moment because it was like this family of 5 that like lived in this house and they had the Canadian dream. And then they were just like, had anxiety because their expenses were outweighed their income. And they downsized and like bought a mobile home. And they basically made a channel and shared their journey, and they were like super, super happy. And I was just like, man, and that was when it hit me. I was like, I care more about being happy than the opinions of other people that I don't even know. And it's so funny because things don't happen for a reason. So this was interesting because I brought this to Charlotte, and I was like super, super pumped about it. She was waiting for it. She was like, oh yeah, we could have done that a couple of years ago. So I had to catch up to her. She was already there. And it's so funny because the next day, like I was looking at real estate like every single day. And a mobile home showed up on like realtor.ca like the next day. Like it wasn't there the day before because I checked. So it was there the next day, and I looked and I know the agent. So I called the agent up and I was like, hey man, I'm like, did you just list this? He's like, yep, just went on today. I'm like, yeah, we want to see it. So we went down to it. If anybody knows Brighton, it was like Brighton's only mobile home park. You probably don't even know where it is. It's like off of Ontario Street. It's like a dirt road that like looks like it goes nowhere. And there's actually like 32 units back there. So anyway, we went to go look at it. It was like a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. And I was like, great, let's do it. So, and we had like not only did our expenses exceed our income, but we had like credit card debt, my school loan, 2 car payments, like we were like in deep, and I was just like, woo. So I was willing to just like, let's sell it. And man, we had like yard sales weekend after weekend, like putting stuff out on the lawn. Heck, we gave away things for free just because we had a deadline. And it was like super, super freeing to like get rid of stuff that we had accumulated, things that we got like, oh, like this would be nice like when we have people over so they can see what we have. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like it's funny how the mind thinks. And it was just so freeing, like getting rid of it all. Like we're literally like gave stuff away in Facebook Marketplace and all that. So yeah, and then we moved. And as a result, we not only were able to get the mobile home outright, but we also got like rid of my school debt, credit card, and car notes all in one go. So it was like we had like $0 to our name. And we lived that life for like 12 months, and it was like some of the best days of my life. You're probably wondering why I'm not still living that life if I claim to be who I say I am, which is the person that doesn't care about what other people think. So it just so happens, and oh my goodness, do things happen for a reason. I'm sorry. So I've been working in the same career for like 4 years, and like 3rd year in, I was actually getting pretty discouraged. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this still. Like I'm open to other options, like we'll see. And year 4, like everything changed. So after we paid everything off, and we're just kind of sitting there and enjoying life, the freedom, the flexibility, the time, which became like the new currency and the new, like, this is what matters, this is what makes me happy. That's when my boss at the time came to me and said like, hey, like, remember that conversation we had in 2015 when you like, stood up to me and said that you would buy me out one day and I didn't believe you? Well, yeah, I'm ready to sell.
Oh my God.
So he's like, yeah, you interested? And I was like, absolutely. So I went home and I talked to Charlotte about it, and she was like, cool, let's talk about it, and if it makes sense, it makes sense. So it was like a bittersweet moment, because you gotta remember, like, I had no debt to my name. Like I had $0. Like that feels really, really good. And it was like, having to step back into that world. And I was like, okay, but why am I doing it this time? Am I doing it because it's gonna look cool to put entrepreneur under my Instagram account? Or am I doing it because we had a son coming and this is gonna be really, like, this is gonna allow me to spend more time with him long term? And now, for anybody that knows us and follows us, our family, like my son, he's 7 months now, and I'm super, super pumped that he gets to grow up in the Bay of Quinte. I just love it here, and I think that it's gonna open up a lot of cool and neat opportunities for him. But I say this all to say that I really had a renewing experience of my mind, and when that happened, it was like light bulb on. I'm gonna say that again, light bulb on. Like a moment where I was like, you know what, I don't care. I don't care if my parents think I'm stupid because I'm selling the 4-bedroom, 2.5-bedroom house and moving, because you better believe my dad came over to the house. He's like, well, let's sit down and talk about this. Let's be reasonable, son. And I was just like, Dad, we're doing this. And I'm doing it for me. Like, I'm doing it for, like, my family. I'm not doing it for the opinions of other people, and I could care less now. And it was like just such a freeing moment, and I was just like, man, like, thank you. Like I am so full of gratitude to be able to this, to understand what I want, in life and what my priorities really are, and I'm not just following the crowd. And even now, as my son's growing up and that, like 10 years from now, when you see us, you're gonna, and this, I'm gonna speak it into existence because I totally believe that it's gonna happen. You're gonna see us doing something that I've always wanted to do, which is truck, trailer, travel nationwide, 6 months. See, 5 to 10 years, you'll see me. Thank you.